Good afternoon. I'm Lucas Panzica from the 104.5 The Zone studios. Tennessee basketball went on an early run on the road and did not look back in a 103-92 win over Kentucky on Saturday. Dalton Connect with a quiet night, only 16 points, but Josiah Jordan-James and Zakai Ziegler dropping in 26 apiece. Ziegler also with 13 assists. It's the highest scoring Tennessee performance at Rupp Arena in program history. The Vols improved to 16-5, 6-2 in SEC play. Kentucky 5-4 in the conference. They will travel to Nashville tomorrow night to face Vanderbilt. Tennessee will host LSU on Wednesday. Around the NFL, the Washington Commanders have made their offensive coordinator hire under Dan Quinn. Cliff Kingsbury will call the plays in Washington. He was nearly named the OC in Vegas just last week. And former Patriots assistant Steve Belichick, the son of Bill Belichick, has taken a defensive coordinator job at the University of Washington under Jed Fish. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Let's go. It is Monday. It is Blaine and Mickey. What's up, everybody? Vols fans feeling good today. Went to Kentucky and dropped a hundo.
Yeah.
Woo!
The hundo.
Man, I think we all called that on Friday, too. We felt confident about that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But what'd you say, Connect?
I said Connect would not have a good game. I predicted Vescovy would have 15 points. He had 11. So he kept his double figure straight.
Close.
But Triple J and Double Z were the ones who went off in that game, dude.
Kentucky was so focused on stopping Dalton Connect that everybody else got loose, and they never adjusted. They just kept going after Dalton Connect, and Zakai Ziegler and Josiah Jordan-James and everyone else just feasted. And 2 26-point performances from two veteran players. That's exactly what Tennessee needed. And I really like what Rick Barnes said after the game, how they'd spent the last couple of weeks just watching Dalton Connect do his thing, and they hadn't really played that team basketball that Rick Barnes is known for. And they got back to that this weekend with the big win over Kentucky.
Well, this is how I took that conversation. I took it a little bit differently. I think what he was trying to prepare them for was Connect is not going to carry us every game. So we got to be prepared and ready, continue to play team ball, because when that opportunity presents itself, you better be ready. And they were. So that's kind of how I view it. Ziegler, they shot lights out. James was, he was looking like that five-star guy. You wonder where that guy is, because he does this every season. Then he kind of disappears. So it doesn't matter if it connects on the team or not. So I love to see consistency from him. And maybe not, 26 points, but I want to see 15 and 10 or 8 or somewhere like that, and being a multi-purpose type player and continue that, not just on the defensive end, but on the offensive end, to be a little more consistent. If he's consistent and Ziegler continue to do what he does, but, he probably won't put up to, 15 and 10 is what I expect out of him, because he's the point guard. At 26 and 13, that was fantabulous. Shot the lights out, especially from the left elbow from 3, even 2 or 3 steps outside of that. Mm-hmm. He loves the left elbow there. So, yeah, I think it's kind of interesting when you look at the SEC, though. They've kind of turned. They made a point to say we're going to be basketball centric and we're going to be just as good as we are in football and basketball. And they hired all these big time coaches. Barnes been one of them. And now all of a sudden, their top 4 is pretty solid, man. They're competing with some of the other conferences. I would say we were talking there earlier. Which is the best basketball conference this year? You got Big 10 and Big 12. Those guys. And the SEC is right there, right there. The other conferences are kind of down. So. Going to be interesting to see, how this all plays out, what seed they get in the tournament. It made me think about, especially you, Banana, especially you being a UT graduate, is it more important in Rick Barnes' era of winning the SEC championship or being a number 1 seed, maybe in the tournament? Does that tie into winning the SEC championship?
Now this year, I would say the tournament is more important for Rick Barnes.
But don't you have to win the SEC tournament maybe to be number 1?
To be a 1 seed, you gotta win the regular season.
Okay.
I think you gotta do better in the regular season, because in the SEC tournament, it's a lot like March Madness where, you could just run into a team that's just hot at that time.
Yeah.
But winning the regular season, that means you were hot all year long, and you did not lose that. You did not lose that much. That's the difference between the number one seed. But I think for Rick Barnes, yes, you obviously want to win the SEC regular season. You want to win the SEC tournament because it's just it gets you more wins going into March Madness and kind of keeps you on that rhythm. It's another accolade on your belt. But for right now, where the program is, where Rick Barnes is, I think winning in March Madness, whether you're a 1 seed or whether you're a 3 seed, is more important than winning the SEC regular season or the SEC tournament right now, in my opinion, just based on where.
So they've
Rick
done
Barnes
enough
is
in
at.
history, you think, in Tennessee
In
basketball
SEC playing in the regular season, yes. The one part where Tennessee basketball has not shown up is in March.
I know we'll have some time to get into this later, but you finally have a guy unlike a guy that you've had before. In the Barnes era, you have Dalton Connect.
Mm-hmm.
And Blaine, as you said it perfectly, Kentucky and Bananas too. Bananas, Kentucky NFL'd them. It's like, let's take away their best player and let the other guys beat us. Well, 2 other guys scored 26. When that happened, when 2 other guys go completely bananas like that, head nod to Bananas,
Nice.
that's how you get beat at home by a rival, because you say, this dude's scoring 32 a night in conference. Let's go stop him and see if these other guys score more than 12 or 15. Well, 2 guys basically doubled, what they could, like you said, if they're getting 12, 15 points, they both essentially doubled that.
Mm-hmm.
If they have an early exit from the tournament this year, because Tennessee fans are they're nervous always about the postseason, and I love Rick Barnes, but gosh, I don't know. And man, Barnes is the best guy, but gosh, the postseason. What if they go and win 1 game and then lose what if they don't make it out the first weekend of the tournament?
Oh, I'd be perturbed.
I mean, then what? I mean, if you're Danny White, because you're like, gosh, man, it becomes the whole, well, who are we going to get better thing? But I mean, this, because that's what fans always say, like,
Well,
who are we going to get better?
Well, I think they're looking at it from a wrong prism to me, and they should be looking at he can't get us over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
Great coach, but he can't get us over the snide. And that's kind of all of Rick Barnes, really, in his history. So, yeah, that's what I'd be thinking if they don't make it very far in the tournament.
I mean, they haven't made it past the Sweet 16 since 2010.
The Grant Williams.
And that was the one Elite 8 team, right?
Yeah,
Ever.
they should have made
Yeah.
it. They should have made it, man.
That team?
Oh, man, I love that team. They played team ball every game, and you didn't know who was going to get hot.
And they had 2 that guys. They had Grant and they had Admiral, who were both that guy. And really, to me, Admiral was even more of a that guy.
Mm-hmm.
When you needed a huge shot or you needed something to happen, like Grant would be so consistent the whole game, but there'd be 37 seconds left and Admiral would do something just off the chain to win the game. But they had both of those guys. Well, I mean, you got Vescovy is a 5th-year guy.
Mm-hmm.
Ziegler is
way more than that. Ziegler,
upperclassman. Triple J. I mean, you have all these great players.
with Connect.
And then you have Connect.
And Adu at the best he's played
Yes.
all his career. I mean, man, this is maybe the best team he's had. Like, just talent. Doesn't mean they don't get the results, but the talent is there. It's gonna put a lot of pressure if he was one and done or win and lose in the second round. But people are gonna not be happy.
If they don't make it out of the first weekend this year with DK, who's a lottery pick, because they've had other guys who were freshmen that were going to be high draft picks and that kind of thing, and maybe those guys were just they get drafted in the NBA on potential. Like, yeah, we know he averaged 11 points a game at Tennessee, but he needs to get to the. DK is out there playing like a player of the year, like you said, like not just SEC, all of college basketball.
Yeah, this is a different go around. So with that comes pressure. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I mean, people get over it, but boy, the expectation are he can't get it with this team. And how much better of a team will he have ever?
In his tenure at Tennessee, he's made the tournament 5 times. 2018, 2019, 21, 22, and 2023. He's had 3 first weekend exits.
Ooh.
He's only made it to the Sweet 16 2 times.
If they don't make it to the Sweet 16, man, it's a disappointing year. Sorry. That is for sure in my mind. That has to happen.
And Joseph, I get what you're saying about, like, they made the tournament this and this. At this point, when they wake up in the morning on the first day of the season, you make the tournament. Like, that's the baseline level expectation, right? Is make the tournament. When you have the resources that Tennessee has, the baseline level is make the tournament. But man, they need to get deep into this tournament this year. Jim freaking Nance in the F&M Bank chat says, as a Tennessee fan, Coach Barnes will go down as the best we had, so we have to decide, do we want to be relevant or NCAA champs, and what's the odds of being NCAA champs? So he's saying, do you just want to stay relevant, or do you want to get rid of Barnes and then try to take, if he can't get over the hump, then you go chase.
There's a risk.
Yeah.
There's a risk. You may not be relevant, or you may be just good. I don't ever think that you won't be relevant. You're Tennessee.
Yeah.
You're always going to be relevant.
Yeah.
Can you get someone to take them to the next level? Because then the decision will be questioned if you can't get past, let's just say, the Sweet 16. After that, coach comes in and does a good job, but then you say, oh, well, we could have kept Barnes. Well, for probably a higher price. But yeah, so that, to me, they're always going to be relevant. It's a matter of, will they be in that elite level talk and conversation that they are, national championship contending type team.
I'll always say this for as long as I live. The greatest example of somebody saying really good isn't good enough is Georgia, where they got rid of Mark Richt, who's an awesome dude, and they won 10 games every year, and they said, we want to win national championships, and then they go and get the guy who does that. I mean, they took the...
And they took a risk.
Oh,
because
my
he
gosh.
had never been a head coach. It was one of their own.
Yep.
And everybody was beloved with Mark Richt. He did it. It was the right move. If you looking back, because he won multiple. So yeah, that's where Tennessee will have to get to, and that's a tough call. It is tough.
Yep.
Especially when you're administrator. You've been up there, Mickey. That is a tough call.
And at a school the size of Iowa, at Arkansas State, a school like that, you're not even expected to make the tournament every year. Heck, we've only made the tournament one time. You're literally just trying to make decisions about, if we don't fire this guy, the fans are so turned off, no one's coming to games anymore. Like, Tennessee doesn't have that. It's literally, if he doesn't make the second weekend of the tournament again, do we have to go find somebody who can compete for championships? Mm-hmm. National, not SEC championships, which Barnes teams always do.
Right.
Do we want to go try to find somebody who can compete for national championships? That's a heck of a thing to have to stare down if you're Danny White. But that's why you get paid the big bucks. Got to go talk to Randy and Dondi. And right now they'd be like, we're busy. We got other stuff going on. But
and as loved as Rick Barnes is on that campus, you make a wrong decision. The guy you get out, the guy you go out and replace him with doesn't work out. You'll have some unhappy fans.
Yeah. And basketball at a school like Tennessee won't get you fired if you messed up the basketball. It wouldn't get you fired like messing up football gets you fired. But still, like you said, Barnes is like the mayor of the campus, and he's such a fantastic dude. Yeah, not envious times. But, hey, they can take care of all this. But maybe the question for later on the show is, what are you good with if you're a Vol fan? Is it Sweet 16? Is it Elite 8 or bust? Is it Final Four or bust? Again, this is just a different team. It's loaded with experienced guys, and it has Dalton Connect. And as they proved against Kentucky, he got taken away, and the other dudes, I almost said who you're paying big money to, but they're not. The other dudes on the team who somebody NIL's paying big money to, they stepped up and they did it. Could they do that consistently if teams really hold DK down? All right, you can't hold us down. Going to talk some Super Bowl. Mike Silver, who has been around the business, worked for Sports Illustrated forever, now covers the 49ers for the San Francisco Chronicle, I believe is the name of the newspaper. Going to check in with him and get the latest on them and more. Heck, we can even ask him about Rand Carthon. He's been out there covering the Niners. Let's talk some 49er headlines and more in Super Bowl with Mike Silver next on Blaine and Mickey, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors.
For many of you who have lived here a long time, you already know Eurofix has been in Middle Tennessee area for your European car repair needs now for 24 years. We've all gotten to watch them grow. And I don't know about you, but I love watching a hometown business take off. Well, we are now proud to announce the 5th location in Mount Juliet for Eurofix on Mount Juliet Road, right across the street from Dairy Queen. And Eurofix can serve you in Franklin, Hundred Oaks, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and now Mount Juliet. Pretty cool getting to watch a small town mechanic starting in the barn in his backyard of a single wide trailer and now grow to 5 locations repairing thousands of cars each month. And at Eurofix, you get a 3-year nationwide warranty and a free loaner car with every repair appointment. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX. That's right, 844-EUROFIX, or you can just visit them online at myeurofix.com. That's myeurofix.com. But always tell them Blaine Bishop sent you.
Blaine and Mickey, sunny Monday in Nashville. That's the way we like it. We like it if the Titans are in the Super Bowl, but they're not. The 49ers are, though. Mike Silver, this guy's everywhere. You used to always see him at the Super Bowl doing his thing. Former Sports Illustrated guy, now working at the San Francisco Chronicle, at Mike Silver on Twitter. He joins us now. Mr. Silver, how are you doing today? Thanks for the time.
One of the goats in the industry.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
I'm always better on Monday than I will be later in the week.
Yeah, that's why I said let's do Monday.
It's all relative. Yeah. Somebody asked me how many this is, and I had to do the math on the fly. I think this might be my XXX Super Bowl, which for you non-Roman numeral aficionados,
help me out.
30. And
dang.
And it's funny because I was kind of known over the years for constantly claiming that whatever Super Bowl I saw was the best ever. But I actually think Super Bowl 34 stands the test of time. Blaine.
Oh, man.
I know it hurts, but
Well, I'm glad you said that. Like, okay, give us your off the cuff. You gave us your number one. Give us your top two or three. Give us top three.
I thought that that Cardinals Steelers game where Larry Fitzgerald breaks free over the middle and goes in with what appears to be the winning touchdown, and then Roethlisberger throws that ball to Santonio Holmes, right in the corner. You had the James Harrison craziness at the end of the half. I thought that was kind of a sneaky, great one. And, look, I was, you could make a case for the Super Bowl 51. I don't love seeing Bill Belichick with confetti falling over him, but they earned it that day.
Speaking of Bill Belichick, with Mike Silva, you was with the San Francisco Chronicle and the NFL Network and all over the place. But, how surprised were you with Bill Belichick not getting hired in this head coaching cycle?
I was a little surprised that more teams weren't openly at least talking about it, and maybe quietly they were. But, there were so many openings and so many marquee names, but when it came down to it, Jim Harbaugh was a marquee name. He did get one of them, but Vrabel is still out there. Bill, obviously, and then you had teams like the Cowboys and the Eagles, even the Bills, where you could make a case like they might just take a big swing. But look, let's look at the total package. Bill Belichick is pretty old. He has not had a good team for a few years. And he's a lot. And look, you can't question the greatness of his coaching and what he's done. And I think if you're a team like, say, the Cowboys or Eagles, and you're like, we can win now and just get after it, that makes sense. But I understand why some of these teams with newer, younger GMs or teams that are looking for a guy that can be there for, 5, 10, 12 years and establish something would shy away.
Michael Silver hanging out with us at Mike Silver on Twitter. As Blaine said, you found him everywhere throughout the years, now writing for the San Francisco Chronicle. So let's go back in time just a tiny bit. What were your thoughts covering the Niners, knowing what was at stake, watching the second half of that NFC Championship game?
Well, my halftime thoughts were, wow, I'm going to have a little free time here, which is great because I'm doing a book and I've got kind of a tight book deadline. Actually, a book about Kyle Shanahan and that whole coaching tree. So for the sake of the book, it was good that they won. But for the sake of my life, I was kind of like, I probably I don't even have to go to Vegas the whole time. And it wasn't ambiguous to me because I wasn't watching like, the 49ers aren't playing well. It's a weird matchup. Like, they were just getting rolled. The Lions just looked way, way better. They had 280 yards at halftime. And to the 49ers' credit, they found a way back in. Dan Campbell went for it instead of going up by 17. You got the kind of lucky catch off the face mask and then the fumble, and all of a sudden it was tied. And the 49ers are a very, very good team. So I don't want to minimize it. But they haven't played well in either of these two games, or that's probably a weird way to say it because Detroit made them not play well. They haven't looked like a championship team twice. I thought they were pretty fortunate to get by the Packers, and obviously half of the Detroit game was a debacle. So I've watched the Chiefs 3 times, and they just look way better, and that doesn't even, let alone Mahomes, who almost never loses anything important. But the Chiefs look like a championship team to me right now, and the 49ers don't. That's not to say they can't on Sunday, and they're not capable of it, and maybe they have a great game in them. But I'm not a big gambling guy. I am, and I get what the spread is. It's not a referendum on value, but, I'm surprised that the betting public feels as though the 49ers should be favored in this game. That seems weird to me.
You even wrote about this. How do the Niners slow down Patrick Mahomes? How do they do it? Like you said, he never seems to not come through in big games.
Yeah, I mean, he's lost 3 times in 6 years in huge games, in postseason games. The first one was his first year, where Dee Ford jumped offside, so the Patriots stayed alive, and then Brady won the coin toss, got the ball, and beat him in overtime. The second one was that Super Bowl against Brady, where all his offensive linemen were hurt, and he was just continually under siege that game, and it was a bloodbath. And then the third one was the Bengals championship game in the 2021 season, when Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator, seemed to adjust at halftime and drop guys into coverage in a way that confused him, which was really odd. Even still, that game went to overtime, and he lost that one. But, I did talk to Lou Anarumo this week, and I was like, dude, what's the secret? And he's like, yeah, there's no secret. You just gotta, you can do it for a little while if you change it up, and you hope that when you have an opportunity to get a turnover, you get it. But even that guy was not trying to claim that there's some formula. So it doesn't mean he is unbeatable, and obviously football is not just the quarterback. But it'd be one thing if I was looking at a 49er team that was playing at its peak, and I do think Brock Purdy's really, really good, and that's not, that's a strength for them. But if they were playing at their peak and looking awesome, I might be like, look, I think they're better, but then you never know with a guy like Mahomes. But I'm looking at a team that doesn't look better, and also it's a second-year quarterback versus a guy who is just unbelievably good, 6 years as a starter, and 6 times with a very legitimate chance to win a championship.
Oh, man. Michael Silver at Mike Silver, San Francisco Chronicle, our guest here on Blaine and Mickey.
Well, Mike, I'm going out on a limb. Our Super Bowl that we played in with the Titans, we didn't have a week in between there. I wonder if you've done any research and talked to players now about having the week in between, how that impacts preparation or them getting ready for the Super Bowl. Is there any advantage or disadvantage to that?
God, it's so funny. I have such vivid memories. And to me, the week in between is such a big deal because it's a lot, right? It's whether I'm away from my family for 13 days of partying and work straight, or 8, or whatever. But I'll never forget sitting at your guys' hotel in Jacksonville the day before the championship game, and Greg Williams in full, Greg Williams form, which for those who've seen it understand. And he's like, I love Mark Brunell. He is such a great player. He's one of my favorite guys in the league. We are going to knock him through the bleachers tomorrow. If I have to send 7, I'll send 7. If I have to send 8, I'll send 8. If I have to send 9, I'll send 9. I was like, oh, my God. I think the Titans are going to kill this team.
Just imagine hearing that on a daily basis.
No, I cannot. And I always tell Greg, I'm like, people who take you literally, it never goes well. You can't. Same thing with the infamous tape, and I broke that story. But I'm like, you can't take Greg 100% literally. He's not literally saying to kill the head. He's just trying to fire up the truth. Anyway, so it's funny. I have a vivid memory of that game. Now, remember, for you young folks, the Jaguars were 14-2 that year, and the number 1 seed. The 2 losses were both to the Titans, and now they were playing them for a third time. So they're 15-2, and they're at home. And they were winning at the half, if I recall. The Jaguars actually had the lead. And I remember looking at Josh Elliott, my colleague at SI, as we walked up to the halftime food, and we both were looking at each other going, oh, my God, the Titans are going to win. We knew, even with you guys behind, we could tell at halftime, like how it was playing out. Like they're going to kill this team. And then, the second half was insane.
Yeah, we're on with Mike Silva of the San Francisco Chronicle and the NFL Network. I guess I want to ask you, what will be the formula if the 49ers win? What will they have to do to win this game?
I think they're going to have to, come out offensively in a way that they have not for a while now. They're going to have to come out. Kyle Shanahan's so good at scheming it up, and they've got a great running back in Christian McCaffrey. They have positionless guys like McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel and Kyle Juszczyk who you can move around. You've obviously got weapons with George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk. And you just, they're going to have to come out and kind of, control the pace of the game on offense, but also put up points in the first half, a lot of them, I think. And then, then we're going to get into the whole weird, like, well, Kyle Shanahan has a lead in the Super Bowl, but Patrick Mahomes has the ball. Like, we've seen that before. But I think that's a better scenario for them than trying to do the comeback thing again, because they haven't had a lot of comebacks in the Shanahan 7-year era. It's usually, if the game is played on their terms and they get up ahead, they are often close. They're really good at that. But when the game is not played on their terms and they have to scramble, it typically doesn't go well. So I would say offensively, they got to be on it and scoring, boom, boom, boom. And that Chiefs defense looks really good to me, but that would be the blueprint. And then, defensively, look, the Chiefs are not what they were 4 years ago when they beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl offensively. Not really even close, but I just have a feeling like Mahomes will, if the game's going to be in the 30s, he'll get it in the 30s. If the game's going to be like last week's AFC Championship game, he'll, do that. But I don't see them blowing them off the field, but maybe they can. And if they do, then people can, talk about this segment for years to come about a guy who covered the 49ers every single day for the last 2 years and had absolutely no idea what was coming in the Super Bowl.
No doubt about it. We're with Mike Silver. I guess one more question for me is, and you've been in the industry so long, one of the best in the business, what are going to be or some of the biggest storylines for the Super Bowl?
To me, you've got Shanahan and Mahomes just sitting there, right? Like Shanahan, it's been such a quest. He was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons in 2017 when they had the 28-3 lead and obviously didn't win. And then 3 years later, he was the head coach with a 10-point lead on Mahomes and the Chiefs midway through the fourth quarter. And that 3rd and 15 long pass to Tyreek Hill kind of changed everything. So can he not only achieve what he's been trying to achieve, but if he gets a lead, can he hold it? And how does he hold it? And, Mahomes, I think we're starting to get in, territory with Mahomes where if he wins this one, we're pondering how great this guy, in terms of achievement can be. We know he, skill-wise and all that, he already is one of the best to ever do it. But this guy's going to win his 3rd and have been in 4 by the age of 28. Nothing is promised, but you start to wonder, like, what are we really watching here?
No doubt. Mike Silva, San Francisco Chronicle, NFL Network.
So, Mike, I understand I know you've, as Blaine said, NFL Network, Yahoo Sports, you've done all this great stuff. I think your time back in the Bay Area, though, overlapped a little bit with Rand Carthon before he came here.
Yes.
Just anything like insight you got from being there covering the team so Titans fans could be like, tell us a little bit more about this guy who's went from 1 year of saying, I'm here to support Mike, to now having all the power in the building, it seems like.
Yeah. He's not a guy who's rash, who just, kind of acts on emotion. He's a smart, calculated guy who takes his time and, has his convictions and isn't fake about it, right? So I think if you talk to him and you know him, you feel like what he feels is real. It might not be what everyone agrees with or, the classic way to do it, but, he knows what he wants to do, and he is very sincere about it. So, to me, it's unfortunate that he and Mike couldn't team up and do something really cool. And I know those are ownership decisions. And, the bottom line is when teams lose, especially in the NFL. As you know, this stuff happens. But he and Rand are not a classic match in terms of personality type and style. But God, they're both so talented, and they both hate losing. So I was kind of excited at that potential team, but now we'll see how it goes with Rand and Brian Callahan.
All right, this is completely unrelated to anything else we're talking about, but maybe you know. What is going to happen to Sports Illustrated, a place where you worked for years that I have received in the mail still to this day for decades of my life? What's going to happen to Sports Illustrated?
I don't know, man. It makes me really sad. When we had such a standard when I was there, and, I was there from 1994 to 2007. I wrote 12 Super Bowl cover stories in a row, among other things. And, I felt like every time I had to be at the absolute top of my game just to belong in that magazine because there were so many great journalists. So it's obviously not that anymore, but it is still a brand that I really cherish. And, I feel for the people I still know there. It sucks. And I know things change and I know industries change and all that, but it just seems criminal to me that such a great brand that means so much could end up in this situation. That seems like it could have been avoided. I'm no business expert, but man, a lot of fumbling going on there, and that sucks.
For sure. Mike Silver never fumbles, though. Always doing a great job covering the NFL, now doing it for the San Francisco Chronicle.
Well, this could be a fumble. I don't know. I want to ask you about a player you guys traded for from the Commanders, I think, Chase Young. His production looks low, but I'm just wondering, I'm curious, what do you think about how he's played since he's gotten there? Because I look at Nick Bosa on the other side, I go, he's a problem. And I go, Chase Young, I don't know.
Chase Young's obviously got so much talent, right? He
yes.
was Defensive Rookie of the Year and then #2 overall pick. In Washington, they felt over time that he was going for the splash play a lot, not setting the edge, not being disciplined, hurting them schematically, toward the end, not even getting a three-point stance. And that's kind of why he was expendable. And the 49ers, it's essentially a rental. They gave up a 3, but they're going to get a compensatory pick back. I don't think he'll be back next year. So I guess I would say this. It was fine when he was coming in on passing downs and, Bosa's doing his thing and Chase could kind of, go for the splash play on the other side. He has not been so great about setting the edge, pursuit, and discipline. And weirdly enough, a guy named Cleveland Farrell, who went 4th overall to the Raiders and is kind of considered a draft bust, they miss him. He hurt his knee late in the season, and he was just your meat and potatoes, base defense, edge setter. And that has been a glaring absence. And they also have Randy Gregory, who's a talented pass rusher. I wouldn't be shocked to see a lot more Randy Gregory and less Chase Young in this game.
What are the odds Christian McCaffrey wins the regular season MVP?
I don't think it's going to be a year where a running back wins it. It's just so extraordinary when a quarterback doesn't. It feels like Lamar's going to win that award, and he had an incredible season. And but, I do think you could make a real case for McCaffrey and for Tyreek, by the way. But, I just, because the voting is so stupid, McCaffrey will probably win Offensive Player of the Year. I'm not one of those people who would split that vote. I feel like if you're the most valuable player, you're also probably, and you're on offense, you're probably also the Offensive Player of the Year, and vice versa. But anyway, McCaffrey's great. He's made a huge difference, and he fits right in with that locker room of maniacally driven, proud dudes. So we'll see what happens on Sunday.
All right, before we let you go, bold predictions and the score if you want to give us one.
Well, it's early in the week, but I think you guys can guess that I'm going to pick the Chiefs based on this conversation and how I've sounded. I'm going to go with a little bit lower scoring game and say we're talking about Kansas City 24, San Francisco 20.
There you have it. Myself.
Well, we know you'll be out there covering it and making the magic happen. Mike, thanks for the time today, man. Again, people need to follow Michael Silver at Mike Silver on Twitter, San Francisco Chronicle, of course, and a whole lot of other places where you've done great work. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, brother.
Thanks for having me. Talk to you guys soon.
Yes, sir. Always fun talking to a guy who's got that much history. Then he starts telling stories about Greg Williams and
Oh, my.
and he just casually drops that story.
No idea.
And you know that, like, wait a second, he was saying I'm going to send 7 or 8 or 9, and I got to be on the back end of this deal. Mark Robb and me tried to hold this thing down.
Oh, yeah.
Come on,
I was
man.
like, I hope I'm part of the 7, 8, 9 going. There's only 2 people left, the corners.
Yeah, Samori would be interested to hear that story as well. All right, final segment of the first hour coming up. And ding dong of the week in hour number 2. So get those ding dongs ready as well. You can start dropping those in the F&M Bank chat right now. Wild thing about the Super Bowl. We were talking about this in the previous commercial break. This is impossible for us to believe. We'll share that with you next. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. And an early ding-dong of the week. Hold on, Ryan. We'll get to you. We'll get right to you. Take a ding-dong early. We were talking about the game. This is impossible for me to believe. The 49ers, and this is no shot at the 49ers. The 49ers are favored in this game.
Yeah,
If aliens flew to Earth and asked you, like, we have never seen football before, who is favored in your Super Bowl game? You'd be like, oh, it's got to be the Chiefs. They're playing the 49ers, who barely even took a miracle for them to get there.
Well,
Nope.
Both of games were comebacks.
2.5 points, 49ers. What does Vegas know that the rest of us don't know? We ask that often on this show.
I have no idea. I just assumed it was going to be the Chiefs. I felt like I don't know anything, man. But I was like, what? Are you sure? They're favored? That's weird.
Bananas, did you set the line for this game or something?
I did not. The only thing I can maybe put together is that they think that, it's on the West Coast. It's close to San Francisco. Maybe that's why. It was
So you're saying location is the reason why they favored them?
Maybe Vegas is like, oh, it's essentially a home game for them. I don't know. If I had to set the line, I would have favored the Chiefs based on how they've been playing in the playoffs. Just like Mike Silver brought up, the Chiefs have looked like the better team in the playoffs.
Yeah. Sometimes the better team doesn't win. That's why I was asking about the week off. Sometimes it helps teams, and sometimes the other team just doesn't look as sharp, at least early on, with that week off. So I wish we would have had that week. We would have had some guys healthier. Man, we would have played a little more full force there. That's a big thing now. That's got to happen every Super Bowl.
What was the I don't remember, and I know you would. What was the reason? Why was there not 2 weeks that year?
I don't know. I wish they would have. I mean, because we had some guys, Mark Robb, Thigpen, some really good players that, couldn't play. So, yeah, I don't know. And then the ice storm, that just made it horrible.
Man, I had a buddy, and he said, let's just drive to Atlanta. Let's just go. And I said, okay, let's just go. We'll just be there. This was Friday night or something. I said, I'll go. And so he knew somebody who lived near Mont Eagle. And he called that person. He said, can we get, and the guy goes, don't even ask. You couldn't get over Mont Eagle right now if your life depended on it. He said, you fools think you're going to drive to Atlanta. He said, you can't get over this mountain right now. You're not going anywhere. I knew some people who were there on a bus, like on an IBM trip or something with some big company corporate thing, and their bus slid off the road. It was so icy down there.
It was really bad.
There's all kinds of stuff going on.
Guys was falling just walking. Like, it was bad. I was like, I'm not going to work. I beat and slip and fell, put my hand down, and boom, broke my hand. Something. It's just like, nah, and I'm talking about getting off the buses when we come back from meetings or practice. It was bad. Like, oh man, they going up our man. I ain't go anywhere. I did. I went out to eat with my family. That was about the time I went.
49ers 2.5-point favorites. Unreal. Ryan in the borough checking in early with the ding dong. Ding dong of the week in hour number 2 or right now. Ryan, tell us about your ding dong.
What's up, Blaine and Mickey?
Hey man.
Mine's for Cam Newton for throwing shade at Brock Purdy, saying that he was the 10th best player on the team. I mean, why do you want to take a shot at a guy that was the last pick in the draft? It's like a dream story for a book or a movie to come out one day. This guy's done it all on the highest level, and you're saying he's the 10th best player? Like, what? So what you're saying is if you had the choice between 10 players on that team, that he would be one that you would do without over 9 others? I don't think those guys have any chance to win a Super Bowl without Purdy. He would be like my number 1 or number 2 as far as pieces that are important to the team. So I don't know. I just want to get y'all's thoughts.
Did you hear Purdy's response, Ryan?
Yeah, I loved it.
Oh, I love it. I got to say it. Yes, I loved it. He said, well, that may be true. I may not be the 10th best player on our team, but guess what? I know one thing is a fact. You're not one of the 90th quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Bam! Purdy bringing the heat.
There's 90 guys on NFL rosters playing quarterback right now. You're not one of them. So,
Yeah, something like
wow.
that. Yeah, I'm paraphrasing, but I put him over. Yeah, that's
That
exactly
was
what
some
he said.
gangsta
I loved it.
ish right there.
I loved it.
Good
Man,
shoot.
Cam, man, come on, man. And, that was an interesting question. I heard Dan Marino talk about what game manager and game changer and the difference. And his point of view was everybody's really a game manager until you get to the bright lights in the big moments in the playoffs. Then you become that game changer. In those moments, you don't get tight. You make a big play. You make the big throw for your team to get them over the snide. So he said, but, pretty much every, quarterback's job is to get it. Like the point guard, you got to get it to your playmakers.
Set the headlines for you next. Ding Dong of the Week coming up. We can start those. 615-737-1045. Would love to hear from you. A lot of candidates. A lot of candidates. It's also a Super Bowl week. You got thoughts on that? We got plenty of those that we'll share. The Senior Bowl is up as well. Maybe you got a draft crush you need to hit for the Titans. There's an interesting mock draft, 2 rounds, and we'll get to this as well in the second hour. Who does Matt Miller, who's the NFL draft scout guy, he's got the Titans drafting. Well, you won't be surprised about round number 1, but number 2 is a guy with Nashville ties. The round 2 pick for him. I'll even share that next on Blaine and Mickey.
If someone hasn't asked you already, maybe you've asked yourself, what's my resolution for 2024? Well, luckily for you, thanks to the team at Cool Ray Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical, I've got some great ideas for how you can take care of yourself and your home better this year. So maybe you want to be better about saving money. Well, consider a $69 tune-up on your home's heating system so you can ensure your HVAC system operates at the highest efficiency. And if you need a new system this year, Cool Ray's industry-leading warranties save you money in the long run. Or maybe you want to be better about taking care of your health. Well, if you're stocking the fridge and freezer with good food because you're hoping to eat better, don't let the next power outage from a storm spoil that food. So get a free estimate on whole home generator from Cool Ray's electrical team. And the generators also keep any medical equipment or other necessary appliances on 24/7, rain or shine. So find the resolution you can stick to this year and schedule your next visit for any of their services at coolray.com. That's coolray.com.
Life is busy. We could all use some extra time in our day, which is exactly why Two Rivers Ford offers mobile service. We'll bring the service to your driveway at no additional charge. Oil changes, brakes, batteries, the certified technicians at Two Rivers will perform basic maintenance on your vehicle wherever you are, so you'll have more time for moments like this. Schedule your mobile service appointment by scanning the QR code or calling Two Rivers Ford today.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday to you. The sun is shining. It's big game week, Super Bowl week. We got big plans, hopefully. Be interesting to see what happens. We had Mike Silver on, who covers the 49ers in hour number 1. By the way, if you missed anything, you want to hear anything again, just anywhere you consume your favorite podcast, consume Blaine and Mickey and all your favorite Zone shows. He doesn't seem to be extremely optimistic about the 49ers' chances, even though Vegas has them as a 2.5-point favorite in the game.
Dang, yeah, that was. I'm a little stunned too that they're favorite. I don't know what's the reason. Maybe they're just looking at the regular season too and not the playoffs. I don't know. Well, the 49ers have been bad kind of comeback, 2 comebacks, really. I don't know. It's a tough one there. I just thought Mahomes, how they look now compared to when he was in the regular season, I was like, they'll probably be favored. But, boy, dang. Are they just trying to get money? Explain to me Vegas. Like, are they trying to get people to put money in on it? It seems like this is reverse psychology here for me, man.
This is making everyone bet on the Chiefs.
Right.
Right, because it's like
so then that
what?
makes me say something's up. Like the 49ers are going to win the game.
What do they know?
No, Frank, as you said.
What do they know?
They know my knee hurt right now because I hit it on this corner of this table.
Oh, I've hit everything in here with everything.
I just hit that thing. Oh.
All right, I teased this. Let's do this. Then we'll get to Trey in Nashville. Hold up, Trey. We'll get to you in just 1 second. Matt Miller, who's at NFL Draft Scout. He's been one of these guys that he does mock drafts and tracks the draft. Him and there's a handful of guys who are just associated with the draft. That's what this guy's associated with. Post Senior Bowl mock draft. I'm first one to admit I had little kid flag football Saturday. I did not get to consume the Senior Bowl in the manner that I had hoped.
Oh, no.
So I'm going to have to go back and try to watch it later.
Rattler won MVP. I know that. That's all I know.
Yeah, I don't think he played very
Joe
much.
Milton threw an interception.
Did you see somebody has a video of him where he was telling a running or somebody to come back to him in the flat, then he threw the ball and missed him by like 12 yards?
He did not have a good
He had a rough day.
Not a good show.
But he won MVP?
No, he did not. No, I'm talking about Milton.
Oh. Well.
Yeah.
Oh.
Rattler is going to be one of the most fascinating guys to me in this draft. Like, what do they do with him? He had all this hype, winds up at South. What happens with Rattler is fascinating to me. We got to interview him at Senior Bowl. He's a real nice kid. He's not very big.
Yeah, he's about 5'11".
Yeah, maybe they'll say he's 6 feet tall, and it's hard to be that unless you're just so special in that league like Russell Wilson. You can run around and make things happen. I'll be fascinated to see what happens. Literally, what does Coach Mack say? There's the quarterback draft and everybody else's draft. Well, Matt Miller did his 2-round mock draft after the Senior Bowl, and he didn't have the Titans involved in the quarterback draft. So he had them taking Joe Alt at number 7.
Oh,
But
yeah, I just saw it on TV.
But that is with Harrison, Neighbors, and Odunze all off the board
Oh.
at 4, 5, and 6. He had them going receiver. So Joe Alt at number 7 with no receivers available. You guys good with that? I mean, I think I'd be good with Joe Alt no matter what. But if you're like, no, man, I want Malik Neighbors or I want, Rome Odunze, not available in his mock draft.
I mean, if they're not there, then your path is made up for you. Draft the left tackle.
And that would sure seem like somebody was swinging a hammer at you with draft a tackle on the hammer that they were hitting you with.
Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer. But the question is, if 2 of those guys are available, 1 tackle, 1 receiver, what do you do then?
That is the $1 million question. Because we know what Cincinnati did. They took the receiver.
Everybody's going to name that one team. That everybody can name it. Mm-hmm. Watch this. I'm about to get you. Everybody loves the skill guys. I do too. How much is Joe Burrow being hurt? How much has he been hit? How many sacks have the Bengals given up?
A lot.
All of them, besides the ones that the Titans gave up.
It comes to Rooster's head. At some point in time, maybe not immediately, but at some point, it does. We all know he get rid of the ball kind of quick. Just saying, I don't know if it's more him or them.
Yeah.
I don't know. He could be fragile body. I don't think we've heard people say that, but he's definitely had some serious injuries where he's missed parts of seasons already in this young career.
And already played in a Super Bowl behind the offensive line that is, when he was able to play.
How many sacks did the Titans have?
Oh, my gosh, I don't know. All of them except for the ones that the Bengals
Well, they
gave
had
up.
6 or 8 or something like that in that playoff game. The Titans.
Oh, no, in that game, the Titans had
yeah, that's
9.
nine.
9
Okay,
sacks.
Yeah.
9 times they sacked him and lost that game.
Mm-hmm.
That dude just kept getting up, man, like the Terminator.
Yeah, I think Levis is tough, but we don't want to test that toughness. Yeah, that was just
If somebody,
it's a tough call. That's the one we about to see where Rand, what he decides, and Callahan, because he's gonna sit there and say just like Mickey, well, we did it there in Cincinnati.
should take that guy. Who did?
You can take a tackle. There is a deep draft, so they say, oh, you can take a tackle in the second round.
Our man Sam Phelan. Remember, he figured it all out. Who was the guy?
The kid from Houston.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying the guy's.
Was it Paul something?
Yeah,
I'm gonna find the name.
He's from Houston. I never heard of him. But,
Houston good at basketball. About to have this tackle.
Houston's
got it going on right now.
Senior, but he did look pretty good.
I read
Patrick Paul. 6'7" out of Houston.
6'7", and a boxer, right? So good hands. Remember that was the thing about him. Sam Phelan was talking about him.
Mm-hmm.
Got those boxer hands.
I get the hands. You can't knock people out, but I want to see them feet matching the hand.
Well, that maybe his feet can match his hands. I read. Well, you know me. I like to read all this stuff. Everybody who came back from the Senior Bowl was raving about how deep the tackle draft will be this year. So if you're Callahan, you're like, see, one of our receivers is there. We'll just take the guy in the second round. It's a deep draft this year. We're set. I can already hear it.
Yeah, but if that guy misses, if that receiver misses, and you had an opportunity to get Joe Alt or Olu Fashanu, and those guys turn out to be like all pros, oh man, that could be the start of a downfall.
Well,
yeah,
that's why they get paid the big bucks.
Especially if Will Levis gets hurt. If Will Levis gets hurt, and the receiver don't work out, and you had it right there in your hand.
Right here. I'm about to get you. Why doesn't it make people paranoid about Burks didn't work out and he was a first round pick? What was he, 15? And then, it's okay to take another receiver again. Because usually the fans are scarred by, oh, no, we got to do the opposite. Nope. They're not saying that. Everybody said take this.
Well, even Corey
guy.
Davis at number 5, if he'd been a second-round draft pick, we'd be talking forever about what great value is. But he wasn't the greatest value for a number 5 pick.
Yeah, that was a reach, no doubt.
It was a reach. But they panicked, remember? And then everybody else panicked and took John Ross, who played.
The receivers kept going off the board.
Yeah. So everybody panicked. 3 receivers right there in short order after the Titans made that choice. The number 2 guy, and we'll get to Trey before we take the break. The number 2 guy, Matt Miller had them take him, was Adonai Mitchell at 38.
The corner?
Wide receiver.
He played 2 years at Georgia, played some, not a whole lot, and then he played at Texas this year.
Oh. Wow.
He graduated from Cane Ridge High School.
Oh, I saw him play.
Yes.
Oh, no, my son played against him.
I
sure did.
I knew you would have a story.
Yeah. Yeah, I could tell you that he actually, that game, he had to play quarterback. Their quarterbacks were injured. He had to play quarterback. But on film, oh, my. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, why did he leave from Texas? He need to go back there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Just
what I was saying in high
one
school.
year here. Yes.
Yeah, he was phenomenal.
Okay.
He's tall, 6'1", nicely built, super athletic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I say super, freakish. Yeah, so I'm just interested in how they got him. And then now he's back in Texas because that's where I think he came from, to be honest, where he went to high school at first.
And apparently has a young child who lives in the West, and he left Georgia and wanted to be closer to her. I was reading about him this morning.
Okay.
So his idea was, let me get closer to where she is so I could see my daughter.
Can't imagine how he's evolved since the time I saw him. That was in, like 2019, 20.
But think about that. Hey, man, we need you to play quarterback this game. Okay. Yeah, sure.
He was definitely something special.
Adonai Mitchell at 38.
I knew I heard that name. That is crazy.
I knew you would remember him, though. You are a high school memory guy.
No, you know what? I think, he was a year older, so that might have been 19. Yeah.
He's listed at 6'4" now, which means he's
19
probably
or
6'3". Yeah.
Because he might have been 2 years older, yeah.
His 2023 stats at Texas: 55 receptions, 845 yards,
11 touchdowns.
Yeah. That's the number. The 11
He was
touchdowns.
super athletic. What's his size is?
He's 6'4", 196.
Yeah, I thought he was tall. I wanted to say
Yeah.
6'2" at that time. Yeah, I was like, man, this guy here is going to be a problem. How the heck did Cambridge get here? That's what I kept saying.
They got him.
Yeah, this is the second round of playoffs. That's why I'm looking. I'm like, hey, man, this dude is different. So my son was a sophomore, so that was 18. Yeah.
So you get Joe Alt, then you get this explosive receiver. I don't know if people will be happy with that or not, but we got plenty of time to discuss the draft. But right now we got to get to Trey in Nashville because he's been waiting. What's up, Trey? Thanks for calling.
Hey, what's up, fellas? How y'all doing today?
Man, we're doing great.
It's sunny outside.
Hey, I just wanted to know, I know 5 champions from my neighborhood, and Buck touched on it a little bit today. Travarius Ward is from my neighborhood in Macomb, Mississippi. They all went to Southwest Junior College. It was him, Travarius Ward. He's a champion already. He's playing in another championship. Then we had Jared Dyson. He played for the Kansas City Royals. He has a championship. Then you got Jackie Butler. He played behind Tim Duncan, and he has a championship. And he went to the Knicks and played with the Knicks. Then my homeboy from high school, I don't know if y'all remember back when Boston had a chance to go to the World Series and they was playing Oakland. They put him in the pinch hit. He struck out. They sent him back to the project, but I don't understand why these major scouts don't go deep down and get good players from small schools. And Blaine, I want you to speak on that a little bit. And y'all have a good day.
Thank you, Trey. Boy, Trey's neighborhood sounds like the high school you went to. Everybody played somewhere after high school.
Oh, yeah. That's always interesting. A lot of the scouts do a lot of deep diving. I would assume, obviously, these guys made it there. Maybe not the route that they wanted to, but they eventually got there. So eventually your talents wins out, whether you get recruited, you go to big schools, small schools, especially now more than ever before. You don't have to go to a major program to get scouted and recruited. It may be tougher to get seen, but eventually it all plays itself out. So I think it does. People don't know. I mean, I went to a Division II school, and that's what really gave me the confidence that I could play because they said I was an NFL player.
And that was them. They were there
6 months before. People were saying I wasn't even a Division I player.
Right.
So so you just. Some people get it right or wrong. That's why I talked about high school recruiting is so unpredictable and how good a player actually will be, or have they peaked already? Where they're playing, what is the competition level they're playing. They could have 2,000 yards rushing, but were they playing a whole bunch of not really good players?
Right.
So it's hard. It's really tough. So, yeah, they kept grinding, kept believing. So you got to say that they had some, mental fortitude and toughness to them to believe that they know they had it.
It does seem like now more than ever, though, the league finds everybody.
Yeah.
It just now more than ever. They got more eyes.
You're out there.
If you're out there, they'll find you.
Yeah, you look at the time. I mean, the kid that played at Berry College. I mean, Division II, 3 schools. Yeah, it's all kind of guys. With the pass rusher there, led the league, and his league in pass rushing sacks at the Division II level. He made the roster, undrafted. Yeah, I mean, it's happening.
Here's what's happening next. Ding Dong of the Week. Get your ding dongs ready. F&M Bank Chat awaits them. 615-737-1045. That'll get you on the phone with the ding dong. Or you can even tweet us at Blaine and Mickey. Follow us on Twitter at Blaine and Mickey, or Insta as well. Back with Ding Dong of the Week next. All right, it is Super Bowl week, and I mean Super Bowl week. Happy Super Bowl week to everybody from FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Listen, if you're like me, you love this week, and you love the game itself, and you love all the fun stuff that goes around it, right? Your favorite foods and people and drinks and your favorite game, football. It's all there. I love it. And FanDuel, I love this, that they've got so many ways for you to end the season with a W or 2 or 3. Like maybe you like the under in this game. Maybe the defenses will step up. Who knows? I do like Isaiah Pacheco to score a touchdown, though. I do like that. But find bets that you like, and not only can you bet on who's going to win Super Bowl 58, but you could pick who scores a touchdown or how many points to be scored or anything like that. And new customers can join today. You'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. You just visit FanDuel.com/Mickey to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/Mickey. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You do have to be 21 or older, present in Tennessee. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. They expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. Ring a ding, ding, dong. Time for Ding Dong of the Week. Brought to you by Mark Spain. He's no ding dong. And don't be a ding dong. Use Mark Spain. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing. Literally, you just call Mark Spain and then go get some boxes. That's how simple it is to use Mark Spain. He can tell you all about it. markspain.com. Eric is up first today. Let's give Eric the honor so he can be up first today. You can follow Eric with a ding dong of your own, 615-737-1045. Somebody has already given Budget Sports Cards gave a ding dong to Patrick Mahomes' dad. What a time to be a distraction to your son.
Oh my. Yeah, that was tough.
Hey man, come on, man.
It's like his third time though.
Third time. Got to get some help there. Eric doesn't need any help. He knows how to call the station. What's up, Eric? Let's hear about your ding dong.
Hey, guys, I'm glad somebody said that one because I had a backup one just in case that one was said because that was one of my two, but I'm glad somebody said it. I do have a backup one. Mine has to go to Saturday night. So Kentucky loses at home to Tennessee. It's a second straight home loss and also SEC, which they rarely do. But I heard a report that apparently Coach K, John Calipari, decided to blow off the press conference. They didn't attend it. And, guys, that is a bad look. You got to ask the questions whether you win or lose. So mine goes to Coach Cal for apparently blowing off the press conference after the game after getting beat at home by Tennessee. Guys, y'all take care and we'll talk to you soon.
Well, I know a bunch of unhappy Kentucky fans right now, but I did not know that he.
Yeah. And someone on the Kentucky radio who does, I don't know if this was true or not, but tweeted out that Coach Calipari declined to do his post-game press conference like normal and said that he had to go home and feed his dogs or let his dogs out. And that was...
Doesn't answer the question, though, who let the dogs in.
I don't know how true that was, but someone from the Kentucky radio put that out there, and Tennessee fans just ran with it.
That's I can't believe it. If they said that, they just totally like messing with people, man.
Hey, I can tell you, I worked on TV in Kentucky. It was a long, long time ago, and not in Lexington. I worked in Bowling Green. It's like Indiana, like Blaine always talks about. They lose a basketball game up there. It's the end of the world. I mean, I cannot tell you what it would be like up there with people knowing that Tennessee dropped over 100 on them. And as Eric said, that's back-to-back home losses, right? In Rupp Arena.
8th time it's ever happened in Kentucky history. I did this math back on Friday. Is the 8th time that Kentucky has lost back-to-back in Rupp.
All right. Maybe you're calling from Rupp. Phone lines are ringing 615-737-1045 to drop a ding-dong here. Bananas, I know you're trying to stay on top of the phones, but what you got? We'll let you lead us off after Eric here.
I'm also going to go to the Tennessee-Kentucky game, and I'm going to have to give a ding-dong to Aaron Bradshaw, the 7'1" Kentucky center who decided to push Tobe Awaka in the back. If you don't know who Tobe Awaka is, he is 6'8" and every bit of 250 pounds, and that is not the guy you want to be pushing in the back. And it led to a double tech call, which I don't think should have been a double tech. I think it should have been 2 techs on Kentucky, 1 on Tennessee. But yeah, Aaron Bradshaw for picking a fight that you do not want with a very large human being who outweighs you by 30 pounds.
I'm just giving a little look inside the bubble here for me, but in basketball, everybody I ever guarded was bigger and faster than me. I was always holding people's shorts or stepping on their feet or anything like that because I knew they couldn't punch me in a basketball game. Now, they could find me later because our towns were small and all right next to each other, but I had to agitate people. I wasn't that good. I had to try to, break them mentally. I did it in tennis. I did it in baseball. I did it in everything. I wasn't good.
You play tennis?
Yeah. I had to agitate people. I agitated people.
You was John McEnroe in tennis?
No, not like that. I wouldn't yell at anybody. I would wait till we were standing next to each other at the net or something. I would say.
Oh, wow.
Because I wasn't good. I mean, I was okay at tennis, but not so good at anything else. But I tried. I was a team player. But I'd agitate. I'd go get my 5 fouls if I needed to. Coach, I'll go foul that guy.
That sounds like fun right there.
Oh, Coach, I'll go foul that guy. What do you need?
Well,
I'm
feel like
supplying fouls.
I feel like my ding dong is always agitating people right here. This guy is hilarious. This is Jameis Winston. And I mean, he's always saying crazy stuff, doing crazy videos. And this one here, I mean, this one probably tops the cake, man. Remember the interview he had in the locker room after the game about going forward on fourth down, headed to that guy. Remember he just
who led the league in touchdowns last year and didn't have one this year, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's not what we were supposed to do, but we was going to get him a touchdown."
So on
and Arthur Smith yelled at his coach.
Right. And man, how he was looking and answering the questions as eyeballs was doing. So on Pardon My Take, somebody asked him a question. I think they were talking about eating a dub or something like that. And he said, well, the first 4 letters of my name spells out wins. So just because it came from him, it is funny because his name is Winston. It does say win. But I think he believes some of the stuff he be saying, or is he just always joking around with people, man, pulling people's shame, man? That's
got to be one of the most Jameis Winston things I've ever
right.
heard.
It's only Jameis Winston can say something like that, man.
When
Like,
he
really?
and Mariota came out.
Right, yeah, 1, 2.
The Titans, obviously, they didn't pick first. They picked second. They took Marcus because he was there. Jameis won a national championship at Florida State in a pro-style offense.
Yeah.
And I thought, boy, this dude. And he threw for 1 million yards early on in his career. And he was 30-30 club.
He was
threw
a
30
30-30
TDs
guy,
and 30
yeah.
interceptions.
Yeah, but Jimbo Fisher, yeah.
And Bruce Arians, hey, just throw it.
Yeah.
Somebody will catch it. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
the fact that he's just a guy who has funny workout videos and says funny things, and it's just no danger of playing.
Nah,
And he could have been the Saints quarterback. Nah, sorry. I mean, we'll keep you, but we're going to go get Derek Carr.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that that's what his career came to.
Yeah, he's a role player now. He's a good backup, but we cannot have you leading our organization with some of these crazy quotes, man.
Do you
You
see
say,
why?
you want that person running your organization, man? Like he just the face of your organization? Good Lord.
Do you see him on the sidelines during games, like talking to Alvin Kamara? Alvin Kamara, like, is sitting there trying to focus on the game, and he's over there, like, giving Alvin Kamara this speech. He's, like, throwing his hands everywhere.
man,
Alvin
he's
Kamara's
so
kind of looking up,
silly.
and I'm like, dude, what are you
I
talking
used to
about?
laugh at him when he was making speeches. They record him for the college games. I was like, what
What are
this
you
dude
talking about? Could you imagine, like, you're out there,
Oh, man.
you're the guy you feed on emotion. Here's the leader of your team, and he just says something absolutely insane to you in the huddle, and you're like, I just wanted to get fired up, man. I mean, I just say anything to fire me up, and it would be something so outlandish. It would pan to like the other guys in the huddle, and they'd be like, I don't know what any of eating the dub, things like that, licking his fingers.
Is he just from the middle of the country or something? I don't know why I think that, because some of the stuff is just like, man, come on, man. Wait, are you really serious? Like he was doing drills in his backyard and had the dude hitting him with I was like, you can see the patio and it looked like they didn't even have grass on the field.
I just wonder, like, at some point, because he can still make throws. He can still do. He still has all the prerequisite skills to be an NFL quarterback.
No, he does not.
You don't think?
No. The number one prerequisite skill
leadership.
No. What's in between your ears?
But I
What's
mean,
in
like,
between
body, like arm.
That's number one in quarterback. Okay. What's in between the ears? The arm is second. Brock Purdy don't have a big arm, but what's in between his ears?
Yeah,
see,
true.
That's the number one prerequisites for quarterback.
Jameis Winston will go out there and either will throw the most ridiculous touchdown pass, or
Right.
will throw it directly into the chest of the
man.
defender.
And the NFL is so desperate for people, as Brock Purdy said, well, I'm one of the best 90 quarterbacks in the country to Cam Newton. And I guess you aren't because you're not on a he is just a guy occupying a roster spot and having funny workout videos.
You know
at
what's
this
been
point.
funnier? If Jameis Winston would have said what Cam Newton said.
But the thing with Jameis Winston is he goes in and he fills it because Derek Carr got hurt multiple times this year. He just went in and stepped right in, and he was still Jameis Winston.
Oh no, he's a good role player.
Yeah.
You can't make him the face of your organization.
He's not that face of the franchise guy anymore. But he's a
he's a good backup. Oh yeah.
Like I said,
backup.
2 or 3 games, you'd be like, oh man, he shows flashes of old. And then he'll show flashes of who he really is.
He can get you a couple games.
Yeah.
He can get you a couple games until your starter gets back. And that's his role now. And
people are
he's really
going to
good
look
at
back one day, though, and go, I remember that guy. Gosh, look at his first few years in the NFL, threw for 1 million yards, and then just never played again. 2 games a year or something. Let's get a couple more of these ding-dongs, and I'll share mine. John in Pleasant View with the ding-dong on Blaine and Mickey. Hello, John.
I'm going to look where he's from.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Mine is for your first caller, Eric. He referred to John Calipari as Coach K, and that makes you a ding-dong, my friend.
Well, I think he said Coach Cal again later. I think, I got you. I think it was just a slip there by Eric. He knows Coach K is Coach K and that Coach Cal is Coach Cal. Let's get Joe in Nashville up next with a ding-dong for Blaine and Mickey. Hello, Joe.
How you doing, fellas? Hey, look, lifelong 49ers fan, and you couldn't have told me that there would be a better coach than Bill Walsh. Mm-hmm. Now, fast forward 30 years, after Belichick won that 6th Super Bowl, I murmured the words, okay, this guy is the best coach of all time. Now, seeing that he did not get a job, I started thinking about under Walsh's tree, you had coaches like Holmgren that went on to win a Super Bowl in Green Bay. You had Shanahan that won a Super Bowl in Denver. And I started thinking about all these assistants under this Belichick tree, and none of them have been successful.
Yeah.
Not one single coach under this Bill Belichick coaching tree has been successful. So I think this is why the Bill Belichick coaching tree should be a big ding-dong of the week. And I'm going to hang up and listen to you guys off the air.
Joe, isn't that crazy, man, that the GOAT, that all the little baby goats who've spun off of the big GOAT, nothing. Nothing to show for it.
Didn't one of them do well? No, I can't think. I thought it was.
I mean, Weiss, McDaniels, Cornell.
Oh, no, the guy that went to the Dolphins. What was his name?
Flores. Ryan Flores.
He had a decent success. I mean, at least he wasn't horrible.
He refused to tank, which players and coaches don't tank. We've talked about this.
The owner wanted it.
The owner wanted it. Yes. I mean, players play to win, and coaches.
The owner wanted to get to that draft pick.
Yeah, owner then wanted to tamper with Tom Brady. What a run they had down there.
But wasn't he there was some time he was Michigan graduate, I think. And that's
I think you're right. It is something like that.
It was so that was the deal. Yeah. Winston's from Bessemer,
Alabama.
Yeah. But only 26,000 people.
Only 26,000.
I knew it was something. It had to be small.
Do you realize how big that is to me?
Mickey's
I knew it was either.
You're talking about my town was less than 2,000 people and did not have a stoplight.
Because he asked, I mean, you got to know you can't say some of this stuff, man. There's no way.
But if you're him, your
He's
whole
been
life,
doing it for a long
you've been
time,
a star.
I
You could say anything.
Yeah.
You know, and like the crab legs thing that everybody gave him crap for, he just went into the supermarket and the guy gave him the crab legs.
Well, I bet he was getting free crab legs the whole time.
Yes.
And then finally somebody
the wrong person was working at the front.
Nah, we not getting. He's like, what? And then he just left with it, assuming that he was getting it for free.
100%. I always leave here with free crab legs. Like, that never bothered me.
Especially when you're in college, man. You know, you got the hookups, man.
Oh, I knew the girls
See?
who took down the salad bar at the Danvers restaurant. You ever heard of Danvers? They had the best roast beef. Those girls would call my friends and me, my friend Deanna, and she'd be like, I'm closing tonight. Y'all get over here in the next 15 minutes. You can have everything on here. Because you can't keep salad and eggs. Mm-hmm. Dude, I ate more salad this one year. I ate more.
Salad out?
For a while, if you showed me a salad, I would gag. I ate so much of it. I ate so much freaking salad. But she'd close that sucker down at Danvers.
Oh, man. I wish we had video of some of these things that you tell us, man. Especially that one where you say you birthed out of a cow or cattle or whatever that was.
My dad handed me a calf that he just pulled out of a cow. He's like, I got some stuff to do. You're going to have to hold this thing. Man, I saw stuff that day I'll never unsee.
Did it scar you for life?
Oh, my gosh, it scarred me for life. And this
I
thing
can't even imagine. I might have ran.
I couldn't run. I was holding a baby calf like this. He said, you can't let him down. Hold him up. Hold him up. You can't let him down. Stuff was running down my arms. I had on short sleeves, so there was no long sleeve to stop it. It was just coming towards me. I said, I got to put this thing down. My dad explicative to me like there was no tomorrow. He said, you got to hold him up. Throat's got to clear.
The throat's got to clear.
Yeah, because he was born, he had to get everything out so he could breathe oxygen.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about that. You talking foreign language to me. I have no idea what you're talking about, man.
He didn't drag me out there for many more births. but for this one, he was like, "You're going to be actively involved today. I just want you to know." I was a little too actively involved. All right, here's what we'll do. We'll finish up Ding Dong of the Week. We got phone calls. I haven't shared mine. The level of this Alabama baseball coach with the bet and the incompetence of his accomplice. This is an unbelievable story. You have to hear it. Top Tier says, "What is happening here?" Your boy got drug into calf birthing. All right, finish up Ding Dong of the Week when we come back. Blaine and Mickey, 615-737-1045. Football fans, FanDuel has the perfect way for everybody to get in on Super Bowl 58's action with a no-sweat same-game parlay. How about this? But when you bet on Super Bowl 58 on FanDuel, one game can mean a lot of wins for you because that's America's #1 sports book, and they have all your favorite bets like the money line and the spread, plus all sorts of prop bets like you have never seen before, like maybe a Isaiah Pacheco anytime TD, maybe a CMC anytime TD. I don't know. Maybe you'll find some stuff that you like, but you can combine all your bets for a chance at a bigger payday on FanDuel. You get bonus bets back if your same game parlay doesn't win when you do. So start building your own or just bet a popular same game parlay that's already made for you at America's #1 sportsbook. They're right there. Just visit FanDuel.com/Mickey if you don't already have an account. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You got to be 21 and up, present in Tennessee. Minimum 3-leg parlay required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Expires 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone, 615-737-1045. So Alabama fired a baseball coach, Brian Bohannon. He had a pitcher that wasn't going to pitch, so he called his accomplice, a guy named Bert Neff. He told him he's listed in the story that I found on casino.org as an obscure youth baseball coach from Mooresville, Indiana.
Oh.
Told him, hey, man, Luke Holman, the pitcher's injured. I'm going to rule him out of the game, but make this bet before I tell the other team. So this dude, his story says, had it not been for Neff's ineptitude, the world may have never heard of the conspiracy. Shortly before the game, he approached the sportsbook at Ohio's Great American Ballpark, home to the Reds, and attempted to place a $100,000 bet on LSU. So they were like, hey, man, no. 15K was where they capped the bet. In an effort to persuade the staff to accept the bet, he insisted he was for sure going to win, adding, if you guys only knew what I know. Unable to contain himself, he proceeded to show the sportsbook staff the messages from the coach about the injury to his pitcher. Holman is for sure out, he said. Let me know when I can tell LSU. Hurry, Bohannon had written, according to filings. This dude went to the sportsbook and bragged that he was going to beat them and showed them the text from Alabama's coach that his pitcher would not pitch that day. That is ding-dongery. This guy got a 15-year show cause, and his buddy is facing jail time. Neff, he faces up to 10 years in prison and a fine of $250,000. Alabama's coach made $500,000 a year to be Alabama's baseball coach. Squeeze in these last couple of ding-dongs or phone calls here. Jerry and Dixon up next. Hello, Jerry.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good.
Hey, right. I just want to straighten something up. It's got nothing to do with what you were just talking about, but I want to step back a little about Calipari and feeding his dogs and such as that. I'm very disappointed in your broadcasting professionalism. And let me explain. Coach Calipari really did have to go home and feed his dogs. He went to Knoxville and fed 3 blue tick hounds. Now, I know you're thinking, yeah, he's got blue tick hounds. Well, now he had 4. He had to feed another one that was there in Kentucky. So I'm trying to make a joke of this, so somebody laughed.
No, we don't. We already laughed. We already know what you said. Yeah, we got you.
Okay. I thought I was offending somebody myself. All right. Okay.
No, you good. That was good.
Oh, Jerry, I'm telling you, Tennessee fans are loving this.
Yeah.
Kentucky fans are.
Go see that picture from the game where I can't remember who on Tennessee was shooting it. It might have been Connect. It might have been Vescovy. And Calipari's on the sideline right behind the shooter with his leg sticking out.
No, I didn't see that.
I don't know. The angle made it look like he was putting his leg out in the court, but yeah, Calipari's got some issues over there in Kentucky.
They always have some weird time of the season, though. At Cal's best there, they would have a couple of weird spots in the season where everybody get mad, and then end of the year they'd be in the Elite Eight again or the Final Four or wherever. But people are big time. I mean, people are madder than I've seen them there in a long time. I rabbit holed down a couple of Twitter rabbit holes with Kentucky fans. They were extremely unhappy. Ty in Nashville up next on Blaine and Mickey. Hey, Ty.
Hey, what's up? My ding-dong is for Mickey. You said a few minutes ago, so I guess you're included in this ding-dong.
Okay.
I'm tired of people calling Belichick the GOAT. He's won nothing without Tom. Tom's the GOAT. Belichick is just on his coattails. My call. See you.
All right, Ty.
Is there an argument for that now?
That he's the GOAT?
Or that Belichick is only considered the GOAT because of Tom Brady?
GOAT with an asterisk?
Yeah.
Does that exist?
Well, what do you always say about the first 3 championships, Blaine?
It was
who won those?
More defense.
More defense. Who was in charge of the defense? Now I get it, Ty. I mean, you can hang the ding dong. You can hit me with that label. 6 championships, Brady or no, defense, offense. He still won them. And watching him in those days which maybe he just doesn't have the personnel to do it anymore. We've had long discussions about they would play a game and rush 28 times, and a running back would have 140 yards rushing, and then the next week he'd be inactive and they'd throw it 45 times. I mean, they were so game plan specific each week. It was fascinating to watch. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, we saw what
everybody's involved is part of it, of course. But I always thought it was more Brady than Belichick.
Yeah.
That was always my thought. That's why when they got divorced, I called it, we will get to see who's legit. And we saw.
Let's get Bill's call in Lebanon, and then Bananas has a little Titans possible coaching news. Hey, Bill.
Oh.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
What's going on, Bill? From Lebanon.
My ding dong is obviously Jerry Jones. You have a chance of a lifetime to hire either Vrabel or Belichick as your DC. And you're talking to freaking Mike Zimmer, who hasn't coached in like 3 years. What are you doing?
Bill,
why is he such an idiot?
Well, I mean, think about it. It might be hard for Bill Belichick to, take a coordinator role. I don't know if he would actually do that, to be honest. And Vrabel, by the way, was his 1 year as a DC was 32nd in the league. It's only 32 teams. His ranking.
All right, but Mike Zimmer.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you on that.
Got to be a current guy. I agree with you, Bill.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Got to be a more current coordinator out there. All right, Bananas, we got 30 seconds or so left of this 2-hour extravaganza. They're looking at a special teams coach. Is that right?
That is correct. It was a quiet weekend on the coaching staff after a busy week last week for Brian Callahan, but it came out today from Mike Garafolo that the Titans are interviewing Thomas McGahee, former Giants special teams coordinator, for their special teams coordinator job. He is also interviewing for the special teams coordinator job with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as is former Tennessee Titans special teams coordinator Craig Ackerman.
What's wild is the guy who finished as the Titans special teams coordinator after Ackerman got fired was also the former Giants special teams coordinator.
He was well renowned across the league.
McGahee has been around the league and back. Was a graduate assistant in Houston, then went to the Chiefs, then back to Houston, then went to the Broncos, the Giants, then to LSU, then the Jets, the Niners, the Panthers, and the Giants. So
how long was that career right there?
Started in 1998.
So I played against him.
Well, that was he was as a coach in 1998. As a player,
I
played against his teams.
Played against his teams. Yeah,
exactly. It had to be one-on-one.
I was going to say, as a player, he didn't do much at all.
No, I'm talking about as a coach. I understood as a player schemes and systems from other coaches and how they try to plan attack, and that's how I would base off what I thought they were going to do, regardless if the coaches thought they were or not. Because if I played them, I knew it. I watched the film. I thought this is what they were going to do.
This, as we leave the show from No Flags Film, Diana Rossini on a podcast said about Mike Vrabel, I don't think there was a fit for him. I don't think he sat in front of any owner who thought his style was going to work for what they were looking for. I had a GM at the Senior Bowl who mentioned to me Mike Vrabel's physical build. He's a very large human being, and that can be very intimidating to people in the organization that are going to be part of these decisions, and that's a factor. He's too big to coach, Blaine.
That's hilarious. Mike Vrabel. You hear
the first of that. I heard.
Mike Vrabel, too big to
too
coach.
Big to coach.
Hey, watch this. We got to go, but that's what she said.
You knew I was going to do that. In the meantime.
But in the meantime.
Peace.